Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to talk about Married to Medicine. Nope, I didn't talk about the whole season. Just a little bit about Quad King, Dr. G, T, and all that stuff. And we're going to talk about the reunion because it gave a little. It did. It gave a little. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you be part of the beautiful people family. Like the video, you guys. It does wonders for my algorithm, analytics, all that. And yeah, subscribe, you guys. It's totally free. Huge deal to me. And we're trying to get to 1,000. So let's like the video, push it out, and subscribe. But you guys, I'm about to get some shit off my chest. I'm sorry, I have some things to say about Married to Medicine and the women on Married to Medicine. And if you are a Simone lover or a Dr. Contessa lover or who else? Sweet Tea, unfortunately. I'm feeling a little bit bad for her, but we'll get into it. But let's get to it, you guys. All right, so we starting off, and apparently they're in like this Bridgerton sort of theme. I'm so sick of the Bridgerton theme, you guys. Like, I just feel like it's corny for grown people to be cosplaying like that. I'm sorry, even though they looked good on the season finale, some of them. It was so funny when she said Dr. Simone had on her quinceanera dress, and then she did. It was a pretty dress, but it was definitely giving quinceanera. But yeah, I'm over the Bridgerton thing. I just think it's weird for people to be cosplaying so much with that, but it is what it is. So we start off, we're talking to all the ladies, and he say something about Contessa being back, and he's so happy that she's back. And yeah, I'm not happy. I don't like Dr. Contessa. I'm sorry. I did like her. I don't like her, especially after the season where she was throwing her husband under the bus, trying to make him look abusive, trying to make him look like a cheater and all that. And then suddenly they're fine. And now everything is Dr. Heavenly's fault because she got on the internet saying that she believed he was abusive. Bitch, this is what you put out there. You put out there like he was abusive or whatever. So we just bought into the narrative that you were putting out there. Now, do I believe that it was for real? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he is a little bit behind scenes. Maybe they really did get back together and they're in a better place. I don't know. I really don't care. I hate the fact that Dr. Contessa is back. I'm just not even going to lie. And then the last season that she was on, she definitely just used that as her storyline the entire time, the whole Dr. Heavenly thing. And I was over it. Over it. And I'm over Dr. Contessa. So there's that. Then we talk about Phaedra not coming, and the ladies were just like, Quad is like, she wasn't needed. Dr. Jackie, oh, there's enough energy here, and we don't. Quad is like, yeah, all that is good, but yeah, she's not needed. And I agree. And then we have Toya like, oh, I asked her to come. Why are you asking her to come? I asked her to come. Yeah, I can't stand Toya either. I can't. I'm sorry. So, yeah, again, if you like Toya, if you like Dr. Simone, if you like Contessa, be out because I don't like any of them. And Toya drives me crazy. She's just tacky Toya. She will forever be. So I just wanted to hear her side. Her side of what? What part of Phaedra got the call to go back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is where she wanted to be? She has been wanting to be there for years, and she's not fucking with y'all. And I do feel like Phaedra was foul as shit for leaving the show the way that she left it and being, really rude to these women because you finally got the call to go back to where you wanted to be when they were fine when you needed this money and you needed them to allow you to come into their circle or whatever. But now that you've gotten the call again where you want to be, you treat them like shit. And I think it's foul. I just think you don't do people like that, but that's okay. Karma's going to come back to bite her ass because this might be Phaedra's only season back on Real Housewives of Atlanta because I cannot imagine what she's going to bring. Watching Real Housewives of Atlanta, I don't even know where she's going to fit into these group of people. Like these new girls and then the old girls. What do we need from Phaedra? I don't understand. I do know that we're going to... Anyway, we're not talking about that. But yeah, so Phaedra didn't come. We don't give a shit. All right, so we're not done with Phaedra yet. The first video they show is the video of Phaedra talking about the girls. She calls them trash. She says that they're mean girls and they're mean because they're funny looking and old and fat. And it's not funny. But Phaedra look funny as shit, y'all. Yeah, y'all know she do. She needs to stop it. But she's really, really, really shitting on these girls. And she said that they're mean girls. So we go back to the girls, and of course, they're not happy with the video that they just saw and the names that she's calling them and everything. And I don't know why they actually thought Phaedra liked them or they were friends with her. And it seemed like some of them really were taken aback that she was being really shitty. I do think that she's going overboard with the shittiness again because she feels like she never needs to come back to these ladies. So she's done with them and she's back on Roa, which is, we know, above Married to Medicine. So there's that. But they're talking about how, Dr. Heavenly says that she just played herself, basically. She thought she was coming on to play Apollo. She came to the trip thinking she would invite that guy and play Apollo, and she ended up getting played. Like, he bought his wife, who we then see that they're going through a divorce now, and Shireen is saying that, she's saying he is a cheater and abusive. And I'll say allegedly with everything, but I told you guys that I watched the old season of Roa, and what's her name? When Phaedra was like, get away from me with this Apollo, she looked scared as shit. And quite a few scenes when you go back, as I was an adult then, but I was just living in the moment. But when you go back and really look at it, like really take it in now that it's years and years later, you realize this lady is giving off abused. Like she's giving off, I'm afraid of this man. And that is allegedly by me. I don't know, but I do think that like I said, we make a joke of the whole get away from me with that Apollo, but I think she was dead ass serious because she looked terrified. Go back and watch it. So yeah, he's going through a divorce now. It is what it is. We really didn't need Phaedra and Apollo on here, so we move. Oh, before we move on, we want to talk about where Dr. Jackie says, listen, oh no, it was actually Quad that said, um, the person doesn't change, they just change wives, because they were talking about Phaedra and Apollo, well, basically Apollo and Shireen going through the divorce and him cheating and being abusive. And yeah, she's like, the person doesn't really change. They just change wives. They change who they do it to. And of course, that was pointed at Sweet Tea. And Dr. Heavenly just looks over at her and does her face like, shakes her head. And I'm like, damn, y'all can't get any more direct. Really, this girl knew exactly what you were saying. Oh, and speaking of Sweet Tea and Dr. G and his verbal abusiveness that we witnessed, I'll say allegedly, but we witnessed it, because I didn't speak on that. I do think that, Dr. G needs some help. He got some issues. We do know that he was accused by Quad of doing some things or whatever, and then we saw it firsthand the way he spoke to Sweet Tea, and they, had the hot mics on or whatever, and she's trying to get him to hush, hush, and he's just like being super shitty to her. And I had never until that moment felt bad for her because I felt like she came on this platform. She knew it was Quad's platform. You come here, you get what you get. However, in that moment, I was like, oh, somebody needs to get her out of it. Get her out of this. Like, she doesn't need to deal with that. I don't care if she has access to the money. All the money in the world is not worth somebody talking to you like that and making you feel like that. So I will admit that right now, I have been feeling a little bit bad for this young girl, even though she loves to, shame people for being older, although that's the goal. Like, girl, you want to get old. That's the goal here. But yeah, I do feel bad for her in this instance and in this reunion because it was like all of them on her. And I have to big her up. She did not come. She came and stood her ground. I mean, she didn't do well. She don't know how to read. She don't know how to throw shade. But she was there. All right, you guys. Next up, we have Quad and Simone and their package and their issue. And that shit spans back for years, and I don't care. So I'm gonna bypass that because I was pissed off that they were even talking about it again. Why are we talking about this again? When they tried to, outcast her or whatever, but she was back the next season. And I am sick and tired of Simone being the person who gets to vote people off the fucking island. Like, who are you? When really she needs to go. She needs to go. She doesn't have a storyline. Her kids have been her storyline for the past few years. I do like her husband. However, her with her loud ass, she needs to go. And I hate the way she feels like she can just vote people off this island. And that's not what this is. What are you doing? Like, who are you? She did the first thing with Mariah. Oh, we feel like we can't have you in the group. Bitch, who are you? Like, seriously, who made you the boss? And then she did the whole thing with Quad. We find out here that Quad, the other women didn't know that Quad was voted off the island, basically. She's like, they didn't know that I was telling you you should leave and this and that. Who are you to tell her she should leave? And why is production giving her that much power? And that's the one thing that I don't like about this show, you guys, is that they don't even have to ice people out on here. They are able to vote people off and just be like, you need to go. And I don't know why they're able to do that. You know how they're able to, or just ice people out, like especially on Potomac. They're good for that. And it's very noticeable. We actually know when they are icing people out, when they're like, I'm not going to film with this person and that person or whatever. And they're not talking about them. They're not talking to them. The only show that's good at not really doing that, I think, is Real Housewives of Atlanta. At least not making it so noticeable. Like, I guess some people will say I'm not really, I don't even know that they really do that on Roa. I feel like they just be like, I don't give a shit. Like, we're gonna all go out to dinner, we're gonna fight. It is what it is. But on Potomac, you know how they're icing people out, just kind of, discreetly. But we know when they're doing it. This show, totally different. This show, Simone gets to say, go home, and I don't like that. All right, then we get to Sweet Tea and Quad, and the fact that Sweet Tea goes on YouTube and says that Quad is jealous of her because she has something that she had and no longer has. And everybody's like, she don't want him. Like, she's the one that left him. And she's like, no, you're jealous. No, you're jealous. And it's so funny because Quad is literally talking to her like she's a little girl. She's like, oh no, sweetie. Oh no, sweetheart. He talks to you like you're shit on a stick. And she just kept saying, get used to it. Get used to it. And I'm like, yeah, Quad was there. Like, she was there. She knows exactly what you're going through. You're living in her house. You're married to her ex. You're Quad 2.0. Like, your baby Quad. And it's not a good thing to be. But they get to going back and forth. She's talking about King allegedly bought her the car and everything. And yeah, Quad is literally just laughing at this girl. All right, so now we move into Quad and King and the fact that they do it 15 times a week, and she could be flossing and he gets hard, and Andy's like, what happens to his penis when you're flossing? And Sweet Tea is like, why are you, no, it was Sweet Tea, it was Tacky Toya said, why are you so interested in his penis? And I'm like, you are too though, Toya. You have a slight crush on King, and that is why you are so welcoming of Quad. You're so happy with her again this year, although you hated her last season and every other season. But now you're team Quad because you just want to be looking at her man. You can't tell me no different. Okay, before we move on from that, I don't want to forget to mention that Quad is working with Dr. Jackie doing IVF, and Dr. Jackie is saying that she may be with child now. I think this was filmed a while ago, so I don't think that Quad is pregnant, but I mean, I guess that's good that she's trying to get pregnant, although I'm not gonna be that person to be like, why aren't you married first though? Listen, I guess the order of things change, and that's okay. That's okay. No judgment or whatever. And let me be clear, you guys. I'm not judging people that have, kids out of wedlock. I had a kid out of wedlock. I'm just saying that they are in an actual relationship. They are trying towards, they're doing IVF, like they're trying to do that together as opposed to do the marriage first and then do, like, it's a huge commitment. Like, having a kid with somebody is actually, a longer commitment than getting married, or it could be, just depending on if you guys stay together or not or whatever. But like, when you are with somebody and you have a kid with them, you are, I won't say stuck with them, but that is a forever thing. Forever. Trust me, my kid is 27 and I still have to deal with her dad sometimes. So, yeah, I just think that if they're together and they're actively trying, and not even just trying, but they're paying money to try to have a kid together, why are we not putting that same energy towards trying to get married? Again, not my business. I really don't care. I'm just saying the order of things have changed, and she's not the only one. So y'all know I love Miss Quad. I just think that now things are different, and not always bad, but I just hope that people think about all of it, beforehand. Cause Lord, you with them forever, forever, ever. All right, next up is Toya's package, and y'all know I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. But we talk about the way she talks about Eugene and the girls. Were you are you concerned about the way she speaks to him and speaks about him? And Dr. Heavenly admits that she was at first, but that's just their dynamic. And we see that she said in one of the confessionals, Toya said that she in 12th grade would have dated him just to make him popular. And they laughed about it. And it's true, you guys. It just depends on the dynamic of you and your mate. Like, a lot of people may not understand your inside jokes. A lot of people may not have the same humor as you guys. Me and my man, we have the same humor. And some people may look at our jokes and be like, oh my gosh, she laughed at what he said. And I just feel like that was rude as shit or whatever. And vice versa. Like, they would be like, oh, she said some real rude shit to him and he shrugged it off or laughed. Like, we laugh at rude shit. So it just kind of is now giving me what Eugene and Toya does, and that's fine. And like I said, that's what Heavenly said. At first I thought it was a big deal, but now I just get that that's them. That's their dynamic. That's their shit. Like, let people in their, couples or whatever, let them have their shit. You're not in it. And Dr. Jackie says she used to be concerned, but now she'll just kind of look at Dr. Eugene and make sure he's okay after Toya says some foul shit, and then she's fine. We then go into the fact that Toya had the two Birkins or whatever, and she just bought another house. I don't care. She buys another house every year. We move. All right, then we have Toya and Sweet Tea going at it, and I don't even know when they became enemies or what happened where they really, really don't like each other, but they're like going at it. Sweet Tea is saying that when she came on the show, Toya really wanted her to go to war with Quad. And of course, Toya is saying, why would I need you? I've been on the phone. I mean, I've been on the show going, at Quad for 6 years. Why would I need you? Which is true. However, I do believe that she did want her to go at Quad. And, Toya was on a different level when Sweet Tea first came, last season or whatever. Toya thought she was running it. She thought she was Nino Brown. And so I do believe that she wanted her to go at Quad because she couldn't stand Quad. And that is the only reason why she acted like she liked Sweet Tea. Because now you go from liking her to, oh, help the baby. Oh, you sound like a child. Oh, you don't make sense. Oh, I don't believe anything that comes out your mouth. Like, she's just really going at her. And I'm like, weren't you just friends with her? Like, weren't you just really taking her under your wing? And I don't know what, again, the girl did to her. And this is where I was kind of feeling a little bad for Sweet Tea because she's definitely at odds with everyone. Like, nobody on this show really likes her, respects her, or anything. So I do think that hopefully she and Dr. Gregory will just go ahead and leave. Let the women have what they want. But again, kudos to her for coming and just going at it with them. But yeah, Toya, I believe everything Sweet Tea said about her. And then we get to the whole, oh, you said we shared the same dick. And then she's like, well, you did. And Quad is like, we did. And I'm like, y'all did. Can you imagine having to do it with Dr. G? Dr. G and the way that he talks, and oh my god, can you imagine if he was like in your ear, like, ooh baby, ooh baby. Ugh. Oh my God, y'all. Then we have Toya and Sweet Tea still going at it. They're just arguing. Nobody's making sense. Nobody cares. And then Simone gets her goofy ass up and goes and kneels in front of Sweet Tea and hold her hand. And she's like, I'm coming to you as a big sister. Girl, sit down. Sit down. Like, they just be doing too much. And Simone really be doing way, way, way too much. I need her off this show. Like, seriously, I don't want to listen to Simone anymore. All that screaming and yelling about nothing. I don't want to look at her. I don't want Simone anymore. This was so stupid and it was embarrassing to Sweet Tea. Like, she's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. You're making her feel like a child for real. It's ridiculous. What she did was ridiculous. All right, so we end talking about Dr. Heavenly and Contessa, and y'all know I don't care about Contessa and Dr. Heavenly and their beef or whatever. And Dr. Contessa wants an apology for Dr. Heavenly saying "Yo mama," and her mama is deceased, and they go through this whole montage of how that is Dr. Heavenly's shit. Like, that's her go-to. She tells everybody "Yo mama, yo mama." Dr. Heavenly says she already apologized. She's not gonna do it again. Dr. Contessa doesn't feel like she needs to apologize. Toya says, listen, you said something about her husband cheating and having a mixed baby somewhere. She said something about your mama. Y'all even let it go. So then we get into Dr. Damon and whether or not he's a cheater. And Dr. Contessa's like, that's the streets talking. That's what people are saying. Not doctor. She's definitely not a doctor. Toya says that she heard it. And what's her name? Simone said that some lady said Dr. Damon definitely asked for her number before. And of course, we have Dr. Heavily saying they're lying. We don't know. I wouldn't put anything past any guy, but I mean, we don't know. And I'm not going to say we don't care because I say that all the time, but do we? Do we? Anyway, that's the end, you guys. If you have made it to the end, you are the real MVP. Thank you very much. Again, if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I am being consistent as shit. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Go ahead and subscribe. We would love to have you be part of the Beautiful People family. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.